Hey friends, I'm Mel, and this is my mom, Onita, or Granny as we call her. Welcome to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. Today we're doing something really special that's been highly requested. Every Sunday I will share a picture of our Sunday dinner plate and I hashtag it Sunday Dinner at Granny's. I've had so many people comment and say, how does your mama put a Sunday dinner together every single week? Or they want recipes for things they're seeing on the plate. That's what we're doing today, and Granny is sharing 5 of her greatest, easiest tips and hacks on how she puts Sunday dinner together for our family. And the first tip that Granny had was to prep ahead what you can.
Tonight is Saturday night. We've decided what we're going to have to eat for tomorrow's lunch, which will be pinto beans, cornbread, potato casserole, ham, corn, and coleslaw, and buttermilk cake for dessert. So I'm starting here with our ham, and it's been froze. We're thawed it out some, and I'm just going to take it and chop me up some squares to go in the beans while they cook. That's all the ham I'm going to put in the beans because a lot of us don't like a lot of meat in it. Start with a really long piece of aluminum foil. The ideal of this is that you just want it wrapped as tight as you can get it. And I just start rolling it. This holds all your heat and juices in. And then you just want to fill up your ends. And you'll still have a little juice come out in your pan. Make it as tight as possible. And then we will put it in our pan, the flat side down, wrapped in aluminum foil. I can't say aluminum foil either.
Gosh. But let's talk about this for a minute, Granny. When we say aluminum foil, we never shorten it. Number one, nobody around here says tin foil, do they?
No.
That's not nothing that we say.
We don't know what tin foil is.
We don't know what tin foil is. It is aluminum foil.
Aluminum foil.
But it's hard for us to say. But that's because where we live is Alcoa area, which is short for the Aluminum Company of America. That's a very important place. That's a very important business. It's not Alcoa anymore. Now it's Arconic. But our community owes a lot to the Aluminum Company of America. The Alcoa town was named after it. My papa on both sides worked and retired from there. It's very important to our community. So it'll always be aluminum foil, won't it, Granny?
Right.
Always aluminum foil in Blount County.
Yeah.
So now we just put this in the fridge till the morning.
Right. This is what we call the buttermilk butter cake. This is a favorite. And I have started with just a yellow cake mix, the one that you add a stick of butter to. You can use the butter recipe cake mix, or if you don't have that and just have yellow cake mix, you can just use yellow cake mix.
Just baked according to the directions on the
Right, go by your directions. Then after it's baked and cooled, you take, I like to use my old spoon handle, and we are just going to start making holes. Call these poke cakes.
Check this technique. Granny twists hers. I just poke mine. That's probably why yours is better.
Well, when you twist it, it makes that hole a little bit bigger. And you want it to go all the way to the bottom.
And today's cake was baked by this little fella right here. This is my nephew, JT. He's not here right now. But Granny just gave him the cake box.
Right.
He did it all. He did every bit of it. So thank you, JT. And he likes to eat these cakes too.
This is his favorite.
This is his favorite. We'll have to make sure he gets a piece of it.
Yeah, instead of chocolate with lots of icing or anything like that, they really prefer this. That kind of surprises me. Okay, so now we're going to start with our glaze for this buttermilk cake. I have 1 stick of butter, and this is a cup of sugar.
Granny brought all her pre-measured ingredients from her house today.
And to this mixture, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. The first time I ever ate this, I was watching the lady make it, and I thought, that would be awful. But then I tasted it and it was wonderful. And hers was hot, just freshly made. A lot of people likes to eat it like that. I prefer mine just cold, so I, put mine in the refrigerator. But this is something you can just pour the glaze over and sit down and eat, or refrigerate it, whichever. Okay, we've melted our butter, we've got our sugar in there, and we've got our half a cup of buttermilk. And we're stirring it and we're bringing it to a boil. We want to boil that just for a little bit. Okay, here comes the fun part. And this is my nice baking soda container.
They can't see it. You'll have to put it down there and show them. It's an icing can, ain't it?
Right. Okay, to this mixture we've got boiling, we want to add a teaspoon of baking soda.
It's going to go crazy.
Then this is what you get.
Oh my gosh.
So turn it down for me. Don't be afraid.
This stupid new stove of mine, the stove eye, it's got 3 different eyes in one. You can't control something in this much space it shows you for one eye.
You only want to boil it just for a little bit. Okay, you can add just a little drop or 2 of vanilla flavor.
Here comes Nella. You tell me when. And when I make this,
that's good.
Whoop, we got a little extra.
And I forget the baking soda.
Well, I do what I can do Saturday night as far as the meal that we're going to have in a crock pot, get that started. I even put a roast in a crock pot at nighttime on low, probably 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. Just cook it on low, but I wait till the next morning to put my potatoes and carrots and onions in that.
Yeah.
So desserts, make your desserts ahead of time. Main thing is having you a menu, having your plan set, watch your time.
And you don't really write out a menu or a plan, but just over the years, you just kind of know, don't you?
Right.
You would look at it and it's just so unassuming. You'd think, what's so special about that? Till you have eat it, we just can't describe it.
Sure. Okay, so we're going with our beans now. We're going to use 1 pound bag of pinto beans. You always want to look them, and people say, why would you look them? Well, first of all, you might have these little half beans, but that's okay. That's okay to have those little half beans because that just makes your soup a little bit thicker. I knew a woman one time that would stand and pick every one of those out of their beans, but it just makes richer soup. We look our beans because of this, because every once in a while you will find a bad bean or even a little rock, a little gravel in there. So it's always a good thing to look your beans and rinse them very good. Now when we say rinse, it's not just pouring water over it. You need to really get your hand in here and really scrub them and then pour that water off. Do that maybe 3 or 4 different times until your water runs clear. And then we're going to put them into the crock pot and we're going to fill them to the top. Leave you about 1 inch probably from the top of the crock pot. Cover them with water, that much. And then you're going to add your ham that we've sliced up. And I have found that if you do 1 tablespoon of salt per pound of beans, that works really good. And we're putting a big dollop of Crisco in there.
It's like a solid shortening.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everybody should know. But some people might not. You could also use lard.
Yeah, or oil.
Or bacon grease. I use bacon grease a lot of times.
Yeah.
I got it.
We're going to cook these things on high. Now, I do this like 10:30 or 11 o'clock on a Saturday night. That's the last thing I do before I go to bed until I come home from church on Sunday, and then I cut them down on low.
And Granny's second tip is what we call the kiss, but we call it keep it simple, sister, right? Keep it simple. Granny,
Right.
How do you keep it simple for Sundays?
The go-to meals are pinto beans and cornbread, steak and gravy. That's a good one to put in a crock pot.
Mm-hmm.
Pork chops, crock pots. A casserole, chicken casserole, Tuscan chicken.
That's a good one.
Our breakfast.
Sometimes we have even done pizza or spaghetti.
Yeah.
It's in the summer, sometimes we'll just do hamburgers or hot dogs. Sometimes we do it in the winter too.
Yeah. Because everybody's ready for it. Sometimes we'll rearrange our side dishes. Instead of the potatoes and green beans, we may have some carrots. JT loves sugared down carrots, brown sugar on them. Frozen corn is great. Green beans that you see on our plates are canned green beans. Anything, just simplify. But now I used to do instant potatoes, but there's just nothing better than a good mashed potato with butter.
Good.
Broccoli casserole.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And salads, and these are things that we can do ahead of time and change up. Okay, we're here Sunday morning.
But it's really not Sunday morning.
No, we're just pretending it's Sunday morning.
Yeah.
7 o'clock Sunday morning, clock goes off. I know I can go in and have a cup of coffee, sit down until 15 after 7, and then it's get up and hit that kitchen. Now, I've got the beans in the crock pot. Don't have to worry about that. We've got the dessert taken care of, and now we're going to do the coleslaw. And Melanie said that a lot of you all have noticed my coleslaw. A lot of people likes it, and you're going to be so surprised at how fast and simple it is.
So yes, whenever I post these hashtag Sunday dinner at Granny's, that's the number one thing that I get on Instagram. People say, when is Granny going to share that coleslaw recipe? So today is the day.
You get it.
Let's do it.
And there's nothing to it. With my coleslaw, this is what I used to use. When I was married 52 years ago, this was my mom's, and I traded her a brand new stand-up self-grater for this because this was what I was used to. It looks horrible, but it was the texture that it gave your coleslaw that makes the big difference in how your coleslaw tastes.
You traded your mama for that.
Yeah.
Tell us about your mama's cooking.
Well, she wasn't the best, bless her heart.
Mama Gibson wasn't the cook, really. Now, my Mama McCauley is a cook.
Yeah.
But Mama Gibson, she wasn't the greatest. You done most of the cooking, didn't you, Granny?
Right. Yeah, at our house, you either worked in the garden or you cooked supper, so I chose to cook supper.
I would too.
But I traded her a brand new cast iron skillet for hers that she had used for years and was already broke in because then it was just her and Dad. So I took her skillet and her old grater here. But then I got wise.
But you was the baby, wasn't you?
Oh, I was the baby. And I'm still a 70-year-old baby.
Yeah.
Once a baby, always a baby.
That's right.
I got wise. And I got this chopper.
Let's get back here and show it.
Best thing I've ever had.
What was it, $5 at Walmart?
$5 at Walmart. But they are hard to find. So like I said, I got wiser on that grater. I also got wiser with my cabbage. Because you can buy this for like $2 at Kroger's. So I take like half of this.
I bet a head of cabbage is not any cheaper than that.
No, cabbage is pretty expensive now. But you see the texture of this? Now some people would just open that bag, mix some mayonnaise with it. That would be their coleslaw.
When you say some people, you're talking about your daughter, aren't you?
Why do you do that?
That's how I do it.
Shame on you.
I know. Well, I don't have one of those. I don't have one of those things. I very rarely make coleslaw, though. I very rarely, because really, it's mainly me here that likes it. So I just don't make it for myself often.
Okay. Now, I demonstrated this another time over here when we were making something.
Oh, we had a video where you and Dad did like beans and cornbread, and we'll link that video because we're not going to demonstrate cornbread in this video because Dad, he does a pretty in-depth tutorial on my other video, but you demonstrated this when we were making something.
Okay. So, right here's the fun part.
forgot to count the pulls.
Yeah. Now, one thing I don't like about this coleslaw is the purple cabbage that's in it. But sometimes you just have to make do with what you can get at the store.
Yeah.
Now, this is kind of small, so you have to do it a couple of times.
And you said this is what gets you the texture that you're wanting.
Right. It's the chopping.
The chopping.
Your dad don't eat much coleslaw. Johnny don't eat much, so normally I can take a bag like this and do these 2 runs, and that is plenty of coleslaw for a Sunday dinner at our house. It just depends on how many people you got and who all likes it.
And Johnny is my brother. We've got a lot of Johns in our family. My brother is a Johnny Earl the third. My dad's Johnny Earl Jr. My papa was Johnny Earl Sr. and his daddy was John Thomas the first. And then my nephew, my brother's son, is also John Thomas.
Okay, so see, that makes a pretty good amount. And that was a 14-ounce bag. 14-ounce bag, and we had that much left. But this is a really good texture right here, especially for chili buns, chili dogs. Okay, right here it is, the sugar bear.
Wait,
Okay. Used to be the honey bear, but now it's my sugar bear.
We like to repurpose things here.
That's right. Okay, do I have to measure it? Because...
Well, we'll guess. You put in and let's... Yeah, let's do it
Okay.
like that. That's probably a teaspoon. 1.
So for you
2.
people that don't do a lot of sugar, this might not be for you all.
It ain't healthy. That's probably
Okay.
2 really good-sized tablespoons.
Yeah. Okay, JFG mayonnaise. If you don't have JFG mayonnaise, you just have to use whatever you got. So there's 1 big tablespoon. We'll say that's 2 tablespoons. And we'll say...
What? That looks like probably half a cup.
Yeah, probably. Then we just stir it up. And this is it, folks. That's no salt, no pepper, no vinegar. Just JFG mayonnaise and sugar.
And we love it. Of course, we put a lot of black pepper on it when we eat it because we like pepper.
And it's convenient things. These like your packaged coleslaw. It's okay to pull out a Debbie cake and a pack of cookies or ice cream.
Yeah, we have that a lot of times for dessert.
Yeah.
Granny don't like it when you fuss at me for using packaged products, just so you'll know. She reads the comments and she don't like it when yous get angry with me.
That's right.
I'm teasing. Most of yous are not angry with me.
No, they're very nice people.
They are. They're very good to me. That's kind of the premise of my channel, is how to get dinner on the table quick and easy. It may not always be from scratch. It may not always be the healthiest. But in this busy world, if you can gather your family a couple nights a week, it's worth whatever you have to do it.
That's
Use
right.
shortcuts. Use whatever.
The third tip that I could share with you is managing your time. I know that when my clock goes off on Sunday morning, there's no snooze to hit. 7 o'clock on Sunday, you've got to get out of the bed. Set limits to your time on Sunday mornings. I've done it so long, I know what I can do in a certain amount of time. And it helps that I'm just probably 8 minutes away from church. That helps a lot.
And you don't have little kids at home
Right.
to get ready anymore. That means a lot. So squeezing things in where you can and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, when I come home from church, I do what I can do before I go. And then when I come back in, most of the time it's put my bread on and get that pot going for the macaroni and cheese that we have every Sunday. So, I mean, as soon as I walk through that kitchen door, the water goes to the stove and that's done. And then I'll go change my clothes and come back and finish it up.
Now, Granny, she can have it all in her head. Maybe I'll get there one day, but I still have to, I write a lot of stuff down. And we're looking at our notes today because we didn't want to miss anything. All right. It's pretend Sunday morning. Granny's had her coffee and made coleslaw. What's next on the agenda?
Okay, now we're going to start our potato casserole. Now, I did set these potatoes into my refrigerator last night. It just helps them thaw out and makes them a whole lot easier to work with.
Yeah, those shredded potatoes make the best casserole, but they are hard to stir, especially when they're frozen.
And a lot of people prefers the chunk. I just like the shredded.
How big's that bag?
This is a 30 ounce, a pound, 14 ounces.
Just standard, anywhere from 28 to 32 they come, don't they?
Right.
It's whatever you got.
Now, if I was doing this at my home, I would save a good handful of these potatoes and just put back in my refrigerator, and then in the morning when I had bacon and eggs, I'd throw them in a skillet and enjoy those
So what you're saying
for
is
breakfast.
you hold out on us on
I do.
Sundays.
Yeah, yeah,
You hold out on us.
yeah. So I've got the potatoes. I'm adding, it was probably half of a medium onion.
Yeah.
So we'll add that. Okay, to this we're adding a can of cream of chicken soup.
And you can definitely use the low sodium or whatever, can't you?
Yes, this is less
That is
sodium.
low sodium.
I guess that's why the color looks different.
Yeah.
In this. So here's sour cream. This is the 8-ounce container. Most people would use the whole container. I'm not a real big fan of sour cream. I eat it in recipes and that's about it. So to me, half of this is plenty. So we'll add that to this mixture. See, I'm not used to talking Sunday mornings. I'm in there by myself going at it.
It's your devotion time, ain't it? You're praying.
Yeah, I'm
praying
praying
when you're cooking all this, ain't
Yeah.
you? And also on that cream of chicken, if people had cream of mushroom or cream of celery, they're all
Yeah.
cream of potato, cream of whatever. They're
Yeah.
all interchangeable,
Yeah.
aren't they?
We're going to add probably a half or a cup of cheese. This is a shredded medium cheddar, 2 cups. We're going to say we used a cup of cheese out of that.
You saving that other cup for tomorrow when we ain't there?
Yeah, I'll pull that out and use it myself. Okay, then we have 1 stick of butter that's been melted. We'll pour that in there. We're going to add some black pepper. I'm not much of a salt person, but I do like black pepper. Okay, salt. It's hard for me to use my left hand too.
Me too.
So I'm going to think that's about a big...
That's about a big old teaspoonful.
See, I'm not much on measuring my stuff either. This is the hardest part of the morning. I could go ahead and bake this before I go to church, but I think I will just cover this up in a pan and I write my directions on the aluminum foil. And as long as I leave my husband a note about what time to put in the oven, what temperature, he can pretty well do that for me. He has some health issues to where he can't get out and go, so he's good to put stuff in the oven for me at a certain time, and then by the time I get home, it is ready to go. But just blending all this in is really the hardest part of the meal.
He says we all just come and use his free electricity and eat his free food on Sundays, but he really likes it.
He does.
He just likes to mess with us.
Free cable, he
We
said.
have free cable.
Yeah. Okay, so we're spraying a 9 to 13 pan, and oh my goodness.
It's heavy.
Let me hold the bowl and you...
Yes, you guys have a whole new respect for my arm muscles now, because this bowl is big. It's hard to get a hold of with one hand. It's great to mix in, but you've seen me in here with it laid on the side of casserole dishes or on my hip, trying to get it poured out of it.
A lot of people will put crushed up cornflakes on top. I like it better without. If you've ever eaten at Cracker Barrel and had their potato casserole, hash brown casserole, I think is what they call it.
It tastes a lot like it.
This is really, really close to it. And we will put this in the oven at 350 for about 35-40 minutes until the top gets real good and brown, bubbly. Bubbly. We are going now with tip number 4. asking for help, and it's not beyond me to ask John to help me. That's my husband, and he can put a casserole in the oven. He can take it out at a certain time. If it's a day that we want to grill outside, he can get the grill started. Ask for help if you have it and accept it.
And I feel like we don't do it much. Y'all be ragging on me because like Granny, she does this every week. And she's always done it, even like whenever I work at my home now, but like she's always done this, and one day I'll have to do it. And I try to throw in a dessert and every now and again when I can, but you know, Granny's got it covered, and she just has it covered, don't you?
I try.
She does.
But we do appreciate the desserts that Melanie brings in, or a dish that she's tried, and especially during the week when she's cooked something, she'll say, come over and get some food. That helps us a lot.
Yeah.
Means a lot.
Yeah, I more feed them during the week, don't I?
We get fed during the week.
It's good because my mom and dad live close by, and Patrick's mom and daddy live close by, and it's pretty much just me and him and Maddie most of the time. And so our nest is getting smaller, so that's been nice during the week. Whenever I make things, even if I have a recipe and it's just me and him, I can still send leftovers to them. And desserts, I can't make a dessert during the week. I have to save it for Saturday so I can take it to Granny's on Sunday so that everybody can eat it. We all just try to help each other, but definitely, you know, ask for help. If this is a Sunday dinner tradition that you're trying to start with your family, and you know, you want your adult kids to be back at home and bring the grandkids and all that kind of stuff, you know, say, what can we do easy? What can we do simple? And what can you do to help us get it started?
Right. Okay, coming in from church, the first thing I do is stop by the stove there and put on a pot of water to get to boiling for this macaroni and cheese. And I have found that this Kraft macaroni and cheese, thick and creamy, is the best macaroni there is. So I don't really measure. I just pour in, after I cook and drain it, I pour in some milk, a little butter, salt. Then I add these 2 slices of Kraft cheese.
Had a grandkid turn it down yet, have you?
That's right. That's something we have to have every Sunday is macaroni and cheese, and most of the time we have a chicken nugget for the kids. We're going to have some white cream corn. If you've ever lived out in the country, some people used to call it fried corn, and this is about as close to it as you will get. This is frozen. It comes in a stick. So you just open that up, put it in a skillet with just a little bit of water, and this will begin to thaw. And then when you get it thawed, I add probably a half a stick of butter to it, and I open one of these 12-ounce bags of sweet whole kernel corn. I mix that together with some salt and pepper. It's very good. It's simple but good.
We actually did film this over 2 days. It was during the week, and I cooked those pinto beans overnight in the crock pot, went ahead and got the ham and the casserole, macaroni and corn done up. Then Granny brought over cornbread that she made at home, and we were ready to eat. We didn't have our whole crew here, but we had Mom, Dad, me, and Patrick during the day. Then later in the evening, some of the kids got to eat.
Our number 5 tip is enjoyment. Why do we do this? Why do I do this for my family? And I do it for myself because this is enjoyment for me to see my family come together. We may be out in the yard, the weather's pretty, kids will be playing bicycles or playing tetherball. The men may be shooting a gun. It's just a good time of fellowship, and it's just good to have the family together.
We get to play games in the winter. A lot
That's
of times
right.
We're sitting inside playing board games and
Card games.
yeah, pretty intense.
But we enjoy it. We love it.
Yeah. It's great memories. It's time that you won't ever get back. That's why we keep it simple, so that actually doable and we all enjoy it. And you know, my daddy, his mama, my mama Macaulay, she always cooked, and she had 9 kids, and they would all come every Sunday. Sometimes when we was little, we would go over too. She always had dinner. It's just sitting on the stove or whatever all day long. But all 9 of her kids pretty much came every Sunday. And
I think that's what got me interested in doing it. Was I just saw the fellowship. The kids loved being there with their mama. And after she passed, we just picked it up.
yeah. So she ain't never gonna pass. She has to live forever. Let me and Granny know down in the comments if you do Sunday dinner with your family or any night of the week, what you do and how you do it. If you found her tips to be helpful and useful, give us a big thumbs up. And I'll leave a video linked here for you where her and Daddy came and cooked a whole Appalachian meal with me, and you'll get that extra tutorial on the cornbread. They're always fussing about whose is better, Granny's or Grandpa's, but you can decide. Thank you so much for being here, friends. I love my mom, and I know that you guys love her, and just appreciate you letting me share her with you. And until next week, me and Granny send you love from our kitchens.
Okay, so we're going to add some black pepper. We're going to add you could even have a little rock in there. So, say that again.
Wide open that door.
Where are we going to put it? I did not know that it was named after, Alcoa was named after the aluminum company.
Really? Who told me that?
I don't know.
Did I make that up?
One time we went on the tour with Papa Ernie, so they gave us a tour all through the plant, and he worked in the full plant.
Yeah.
So he probably told you that.
I bet he did. I
probably wasn't listening.
Yeah, you should listen better, Granny.
I was probably busy trying to keep everybody under control.
You probably was.
Now, where am I looking at now?
Look right here and just say cheese.
Cheese.